It's your show now, so what's it gonna be? 'Cause people will tune in.
All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to be looking at the group dynamics interview. There are 3 MBA programs today that require you to do an interview within a team setting rather than a one-on-one type style. Those schools are IMD from Switzerland, Michigan Ross, and Pennsylvania's Wharton School. Now, they all approach it in a very slightly different way. For example, IMD uses a case study. Ross actually just provides random words, and it's up to you and your team to come up with a concept or an idea using those words. And Wharton actually provides you questions ahead of time so you can kind of prepare your concept and your thoughts so you can share during the interview. Now, if you are called in for a group dynamics interview, then this is the video to watch, definitely. And I'm going to give you some tips, and I will give you a hack on how to do really well in this setting. First of all, just to clear up a few things, when you do get called in for a group interview, a few tips here. Be sure you show up on time or earlier. Okay, you want to get, if possible, be the first one there. Why do I say this? Okay. When you go there, everyone is going to end up having to wait around in a room until everyone shows up, and then until the given time, the scheduled time, you actually start the interview on the scheduled time. So why do I need to get there early? Well, get there early so you can do some recon. Okay, you want to be knowledgeable, but also it works both ways, like psychological, but also informational. When you see other candidates come in, you should immediately start trying to talk to them and kind of mingle with them, talk to the people who are there. You are being observed. Just like a one-on-one interview or a group dynamics interview, the interview actually starts before the actual interview or before even the first question is asked. You're being observed the entire time. School monitors and interviewers actually observe the candidate's ability to, your active listening skills, your communication abilities, your intellectual curiosity, your ability to work well with others, and to also think on your toes. Okay, that's the whole purpose of this exercise, of actually doing a team dynamics interview. But you are being observed in the waiting room as well. It's very likely that they are watching you. Not the entire time, but they will be looking over, glancing over. And if they glance over and you're sitting there in the corner, with your head down on your cell phone, playing Pokemon Go, obviously you won't be sitting down if you're playing Pokemon Go, but still, if you're over in the corner, you're kind of secluded, you're on your own, that's already a negative point there. Okay, you want to be able to mingle, you want to be mixing, you want to be talking to others, because it's very likely that a few of those students are going to be in your class for those next 2 years. If you can't get along with the people already there during the group dynamics exercise, the interview, then that's a key sign that's a huge clue for the interviewers and for the school to see that, all right, you might not be, that school's material. You might not be. If you don't get along with those few, you probably won't get along with the other couple hundred at the school. So it's a kind of a test. They're just observing you. You want to get there early, do some recon, talk to the monitors, talk to the interviewers, and then when people start showing up, introduce yourself. Say hi, how you doing? Shake their hands and start networking. Okay, that's a great way to start off your interview already, right there. The second thing is, dress the part. A lot of these group dynamics interviews are held on a Saturday in most places around the world. And the reason why is because most of you are always working on the weekdays anyway, and Friday nights are terrible anywhere you go, because Friday nights, frankly, are nights where people kind of just go out and they need to unwind. So Saturday morning is usually the time for these interviews. Otherwise, it's Saturday afternoon. Either way, don't go out drinking the night before. Don't do that. You don't want to show up with a hungover look on your face. You need to dress the part, dress nicely, wearing social pants and a shirt and tie and a jacket. You do want to show up because it's still a business school interview, and business is still traditional in the sense that you have to dance to the music, right? So show up dressed nicely. Don't ever be late. Get there early. Be very aware of your surroundings, in the sense you want to be able to mingle. You think of it as like a party. In a sense, you want to go around talking to people, getting to know them. Okay. Now, once everyone is there in the waiting room, the interviewers will call you guys in. Depending on how many students, usually it's around 30 to 40 on any given day. They'll separate you into groups of 5 or 6 people, up to 7, I think, the most. And then you get handed either your case study or your question or your random words, and you guys as a team have to come up with the best possible answer or concept that will be used, and someone will have to present. Each of the schools follow different rules. Those rules will be given to you beforehand, but those rules will not affect in how you need to perform.
Where'd all the good people go?
Why group dynamics? So anybody who's interested in a management position in business, they need to understand everything about group dynamics. If you're going to manage people and projects, you have to know how to inspire your teams to also not only do their best effort, but also have a very pleasant work environment. Okay, a lot of the MBA programs also have group work case studies. You're going to have to work with other students anyway. Anyone in management also needs to know how to coordinate and delegate tasks and interactions within the group. When you have a good group dynamic, so to speak, the work is actually, the flow is better, the environment is pleasant, and you guys, usually that team achieves their objectives and their deadlines. But on the other hand, when you have poor group dynamics, it actually leads to ineffectiveness of the group. I mean, there's a lack of effectiveness. You guys don't get things done. It's just kind of stagnant. It lingers there. That's exactly what they're looking for. You do not want that to happen during your group interview. Well, you might ask, well, Matt, I'm only one person in a group of 6. How do I do this? How do I maintain the effectiveness of the group? Well, first, I'll give you those answers in this video. First of all, you need to show that you are willing, that your main mentality in this is the success of the group and not the individual. I know some coaches who say you need to stand out as a leader, or they give these advices to students, you have to do this or you have to do that. And I'm in total disagreement with many of them. I don't believe that you need to show yourself as a leader, mainly because that doesn't answer the underlying questions of the interviewer. Let's take a look at the underlying questions. Let's rewind a little bit. We need to show that you have great listening skills, great communication skills. You can think off your feet, okay, and you can work well within a team. Those are the basics. Underneath that, though, it's all about how well do you promote the effectiveness of the group? How well do you promote the success of the group? Okay. A little bit of backstory here. Back in the 1940s, there were 2 theorists, Kenneth Ben and Paul Sheets. Kenneth Ben and Paul Sheets, they set up some functional roles for group members, and they defined them into 3 categories. Okay, so there are task roles, which are there are initiators or contributors, what they call initiators or contributors, people who propose ideas, the tasks, and the goals. There are elaborators, people who develop the plans from these ideas. And there are those technicians, or the procedural technicians. They facilitate the group discussion by handling the logistics, by also mediating everything. And then there are the personal and social roles. These are the second type of roles that they separated. These are the people who contribute to the positive functioning of the group. So You have the encourager, the person who's always providing support, who's praising the efforts, who's friendly, who's warm. You have the harmonizer, the one that actually promotes the reconciliation of differences, the one that's trying to settle any conflicts or any tension within the group. And then you have the gatekeepers or the expediters, the people who kind of regulate the flow of communication. That person who's going to go, all right, guys, we're off topic. Let's kind of get back to this topic because we're running out of time. That's the gatekeeper. That's the expediter, what they call the expediter. The third category was, I think it's the dysfunctional roles or the individual roles, individualistic roles. Now, these are the guys that disrupt group progress and weaken, the cohesion of the chemistry of the group. So you have the aggressor, the one who's always making, who's very aggressive, making personal attacks, maybe not so somewhat insulting comments. You have the recognition seeker, the one who wants to always draw the attention to him or herself. And then you have the self-confessor, the one that uses group, that uses these dynamics or even group meetings as a way to just kind of vent and talk about their personal things and issues. It's the well-known drama queen or king of your office. Okay, you know who I'm talking about, most likely. Anyway, that's the self-confessor within the dysfunctional individualistic roles of Ben and Sheets' theory on group role categories. Anyway, with that background in mind, let's get back to the underlying questions. So how do I show that I'm capable of good management? Well, first, my suggestion is the following. You need to go, when you walk into that room and you sit down, you meet your group, be friendly, yes, talk to everybody, but I want you to be taking notes down. If you have ever played poker, Texas Hold'em poker, and you're at the final table with 9 players, 8 of them, 8 other players, it's total 9 players, 8, you don't know any of the 8, what do? You'd start taking mental notes. And if you're not capable of taking mental notes, you do it like I do. I write down my notes when I have to, when I think of something, when I see a tell, when I see somebody, when I find somebody's, betting routine a bit suspicious, I'll jot that down real quick. Why? You're studying your counterparts. Because once you've identified which one of these 9 roles that these people play in, then it makes it a little bit easier for you to be able to manage. So yeah, take down the notes, say hi, introduce yourself, talk to everyone. But as you're writing down their names, you write down whether or not they're an initiator, they're an elaborator, they're a technician, which is the task roles. If they're an encourager, a harmonizer, or a gatekeeper, which is the personal and social roles. Or if they're an aggressor, recognition seeker, or drama queen, self-confessor. That's the dysfunctional and individualistic roles. What do you do with this information? With this information, what you want to do is also identify who are the more outspoken ones and who are the most introverted ones. Because now I'm going to tell you the hack. How do I do well in any one of these 3 types of group dynamic interviews?
Sitting around feeling far away.
I have done extensive research on students in the past 3 years. Not just in Brazil, but in different countries, who have done the group dynamics interviews, and not all of them got in, not all of them didn't get in. You see, I got both. I got 2 different groups of people in the sense of people who were accepted, who weren't accepted. What I realized was interesting. This is where it's very interesting. I realized there's a common pattern in the people who were accepted. Okay, apart from a well-written application, a well-done application, there's a common factor that all of those who were accepted into these group dynamics interview sessions and then accepted into the school subsequently, they all shared in common. This is what they did. They first started off basically just by kind of listening and studying their counterparts, obviously thinking about the ideas and whatnot. They allowed people to talk and give their views. Great. What I realized was that they shared 3 roles in common. 1 is the gatekeeper, 2 is the encourager, and 3 is the initiator. All right? And how did they do this? I mean, so they start off the interview, and they began by listening and, yes, studying their counterparts, obviously, which was the tip I just gave you. But as the group interview developed, what they did was, once they've proposed their idea, a little bit afterwards, they were ready to let it go. They were ready to set their idea aside in order to support the ideas of the less outspoken ones, the quieter ones. Imagine this. So you're sitting there with 4, 5, or 6 other people. You're having an interview. You may have 1 or 2 aggressors here. You have the mediators. There's you, and then you have maybe 1 or 2 people who are kind of like not outspoken. They're kind of shy. Anytime somebody kind of cuts them down, every time they try to speak, someone cuts them down or interrupts them. Those are the people you have to support. Those are the people at least all the students that were accepted, those are the people that they supported and helped and brought into the conversation. Okay? It's not about having the best idea or having the idea that everyone else will follow. That's the incorrect coaching tip that you're ever going to receive by anyone who's not really sure of what they're doing in that sense. In a group dynamic interview, you do not want to be the aggressor. You do not want to be the leader who's like, everyone follow me, shut up, and this is the way we're going. Not only that, you're not there to do airtime. You don't want to be the only one talking. Okay? It's not the sage on the stage sort of leadership that they're looking for. They're looking for the leader who can fill in the gaps of a team. What roles can be filled? What additional tasks or roles will be required or not needed? Okay, this is all going to vary depending on the stage of the group development, but the ability to recognize these functional roles and specific behaviors, that's what makes good managers good at what they do. Be able to identify where are the gaps and how do I fill them in. And the best way to show that, in my opinion and what I've seen in my experience, is by taking somebody else's idea, discarding your own, but taking somebody less outspoken, take his or her idea and support that vehemently. Okay? You don't have to go head to head with the aggressor. That's not the point. But you want to make sure that person's speaking out. You want to make sure that person is contributing. You want to make sure that person is part of the group, feels part of the group. Aggressors don't do this. Aggressors are just me, and this is it. We're going. Mediators are the ones that are kind of trying to slow it down. Let's get other people in here, but they don't do that enough. Okay, because they don't want to anger the aggressors. Mediators are kind of just in the middle there, in a neutral zone. They're not really. That's why it's important that you get a gatekeeper. Someone's going to go, wait, just a moment. Let's see what this person has to say, because I believe that she tried to say a few, she has a few good ideas, but no one has actually allowed her to talk. Be the encourager. Yeah, come on. I know you. I really like that idea on the idea that you proposed. Can you develop it? What else? What are some of the common problems that you think are going to show up? So that way, if we tackle the problems now, we might have a better chance of pushing your idea through. Then also be the initiator contributor. You want to be able to propose tasks and goals. Guys, all right, can somebody come up with some of the difficulties, some of the main challenges that we're going to face regarding her idea or his idea? Okay, I don't want to say her. Some people are sensitive about why does the less outspoken one always have to be the woman? It's not the point. I'm just differentiating it. Sorry, I'll say him. His idea. Okay. What kind of things are we looking at? Logistically speaking, what are the difficulties? Can we make this idea work? Now the aggressor is going to go against you, or he's going to be, fuming over there. But it's not the point. You want to show that you are ready to let go of your idea. You have to have a good idea, but let go of it. You're like, you know what? I think his idea is better. That's you letting go of your idea, then supporting somebody else's idea. For some reason, almost 90% of the people that were accepted that I've spoken to out of the 200 or so students, they've all done this almost exact same thing. Support the less outspoken person. I just gave you a huge hack. Something that great leaders always do is empower their members. So don't be a great leader by thinking that you have to impose your beliefs on others. The best way to be a great leader, a good leader, is to empower others to be better, to improve, to grow, to develop. And in order to do so, you have to be there. You have to be the encourager. You have to be the person that's like, yeah, what do you think? Come on, draw on that, because I really think you've got something here. We just need a little bit more, okay? And then if they fail, that's not your fault. There's the thing. Your performance does not depend on that person who you're supporting, his or her performance. Your performance is going to depend solely on the fact that you were selfless enough to let go of your idea to support somebody else's idea for the success of the group. That's what they're looking for. That's how you answer the underlying question, not by showing that you're a great leader. It's not that. All right, it's being humble and being able to let go of your own ideas, your thoughts, and being able to encourage others, empower others. All right, be that type of a leader. Matt, I'm not that type of a leader. Yes, you are. We all have it in us. I remember a story I heard once. It said that in all of us we have a good wolf and a bad wolf in our hearts, and they're both always at war. The good wolf and the bad wolf. And which one do you feed most, or which one you feed more will determine the outcome. Which wolf is going to be stronger? And in that sense, if we have that wolf in us, yes, sometimes we can be aggressive leaders when we want things to be the way we want them to be. But then there is that empowering leader wolf in our hearts also, that if we just feed him, he'll get stronger and stronger. Go out there and start empowering people around you. Even if you're not an official leader, it can be your peer. Empower that person. Oh, how do I do that? Support them, push them on. That's how you start practicing for this, for this group dynamic interview. Not by scripting your answer, not by writing down what you think is going to be the best idea that everyone's going to accept. No. Start by acting like the leader you need to act in order to show this. Oh, but I'm not good at this. When people are watching, it's kind of weird. Well, then to apply to a different school. There you have it. Apply to a different school. I can't solve it for you. I cannot do it for you. I'd love to. I'd love to open up your brain and do a matrix style, plug a USB into your head and you can download everything that I know and everything this interview course is trying to give you in seconds. And you will be the most endeared and leader who can empower his or her team that he or she manages. That's I can't do that for you. So you have to do that on your own. And if you really can't do it, then I'm sorry. Apply to some other school. Don't apply to IMD, Wharton, or Ross. Okay? Simple as that. Or get yourself out there and start working on these skills. It's the same as, so in one of the questions, remember there was an internship in Germany that you really wanted to be a part of, a foreign exchange program at a German company, and you wanted to go, and there was a proficiency test. You don't speak a word of German. What are you gonna do? Oh, I don't speak German, so I think it's not gonna work. Dang it. Missed opportunity. Or are you going to get up, face that challenge and go, I'm going to take German lessons and I'm going to beat everyone in the proficiency test. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to go. Which one do you think is the type of person that MBA schools want. Something to think about. I'll see you next video.
Way down by the edge of your horizon. Well, it's beginning to show.